Ah. No. Wait. For this one, we should go about it like... No. Heathcliff's been in the vanguard for too long. I should pull him back and let him... Dante. Oh, sorry. Did you say something? I provided you an answer to your question, but you exhibited no observable response. Is the sinner's combat performance deteriorating beyond manageable parameters? No. Things aren't that bad, but it's just hard to focus on one conversation when I'm trying to support battles happening in completely different places at once. On top of that, Roja's shopping chatter's starting to get a little distracting. A few days after we entered N-Corp's district, the bus pulled over in the back streets of N-Corp to take care of a distortion case. This contract was supposed to be handled jointly with the LCD team, but distortions suddenly started cropping up all over an area of the back streets called Butter Street, without any coherent pattern and no obvious point of origin or route of spread. Nothing convenient like that. And I had no choice but to split the sinners into several groups and send them out. Otis, Ishmael, Sinclair, Don Quixote, Yisong, and Mersault were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Heathcliff, Gregor, and Hong Lu were suppressing distortions that had showed up from other directions. And with our onboard stock scraped down to the bottom, Roja and Ryoshu, who were done with their share of suppression work, were put in charge of buying supplies for the bus. As for Faust, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus. I wanted to get through the consultation sessions I'd been putting off and thought I might as well get myself some much-needed practice with handling the new golden bow power I'd acquired. To reiterate, there are no issues requiring special concern regarding... To reiterate, there are no issues requiring special concern regarding Faust. It is true that Faust has on several recent occasions expressed dissatisfaction with a certain Faust. However, those instances should be classified as a mere personal grievance. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but This was not the first time Faust had seemed unlike herself. There had been times before when she spent far longer alone than usual, lost in thought, moments when she could not process immediate answers to questions from the other sinners or me. Could it be? You can't access the Gesellschaft. May I ask your basis for that inference? 'Cause you're acting a lot like you did back on the warp train. It appears that there remains occasions on which you are still capable of surprising Faust, Dante. So I was right? You really are cut off from the Gesellschaft? That was not intended as a confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying that while she can technically access the Gesellschaft, it may as well be that she can't. Could ask more and get to the bottom of it, but the way she was sidestepping the subjects told me that prying wouldn't give me any further insight. Right. I won't press you if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Shall we move on? Yes. Your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent events in the House of Spiders, it would appear that memories concerning the individuals, designated as Sora and Ren, currently remain only with you, Dante. As such, should the influence of Yoshu and her sword lead to further omissions in the official records, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Damn, that'd be fucked. Yeah. Not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories, huh? That's right. Despite K-Corp's memory wipe procedure, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Bow's power, and the Arashiki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. 'Cause you're a robot. Because you're Angela. It's pretty obvious. But whatever. But ironically enough, the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no sign of returning. Almost like I didn't want them to. Why won't my old memories come back, though? Is it because of this clock head? Speculations based on your experience with the bus team thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of your former memories, manager. Induction reasoning conducted from memories with gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed and increasing in body mass alone would provide it with no meaningful basis for identifying the purpose of its rearing. Even at the terminal stage, when exposed to kitchen instruments and the heat of a stove, its limited experience would prove inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fate and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of the experience that you will have accumulated at the terminus of your entire journey. That is, your allotted mission. You need your own canto, basically. Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. Yep. And that treasure will give me back my memories and my head also. Indeed. At the end of the road, you will be able to engrave your aspect. I still have no idea exactly what aspect means, or even whether it's an object. But if I know one thing, it's that the me from before all of this began had wanted it badly, obsessively, desperately. It's more of an instinctive knowledge. But with my memory gone, that feeling, however strong it is, does not change the fact that it's just another word with no discernible mental image. And you're not gonna tell me what it actually is, are you? The aspect. What it means, or why I want it so much. If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I am unable to tell you. Pay it no mind. You are still following your star acceptably. It's a dumb word. Please concentrate on the journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to that incomplete power? Current observation suggests you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Otis's team is doing well in combat even without my direct supervision. Maybe I should put some reverb on this.
Otis's team.
There it is. Otis's team is doing well in combat even without my direct supervision. And Raj's team is shopping and not engaging in battle at the moment. Taking my mind off them would prove much easier. That wouldn't give me the much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every sinner's status. Sufficient familiarity should result in substantial tactical value. You would be able to cast a wider net when information gathering and employ previously unavailable tactical patterns. What the fuck does that mean? Right. And I'd also be able to tell when it's a bad time to call someone in, too. Even as I continue talking with Faust, I make sure not to stop observing the places where each group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries. His team's still doing pretty well even without my directions. As for Raja... Wait. Did she just stuff all the pastries and bread she bought into her pockets? How did she manage that with a huge baguette? And Otis's group, let's see. Ah, looks like they joined up with the LCD team without any issue. LCD, then that guy over there must be... Hang on. Faust, there's a dude I've seen before, but he seems a bit, different from what I remember. Could you specify the issue? I'm monitoring the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. Let's end this consultation here. Thank God. This is rather precipitous, Dante. Precipitous. Okay, you're... what the fuck, man? If the incident of a serious... If the incident is of a serious nature, perhaps a request for support from the LCC. What the hell are they gonna do? No, it's not an incident. Though, I wouldn't say it's not serious. Peachy. What kind of voice do I give her? Honestly, I want to give her a Scott voice, but she's technically American, so... This is going from bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Otis's command calls have been working out well enough, I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected, but we're definitely starting to feel the strain. Huh. Why are you waving your hand all over? Arm and hand signals? Huh? What? Oh, sorry. What? What signals? What's swinging the arm sideways even supposed to mean? What do Greek people sound like? Let me look this up. Huh, interesting. You don't know? It's scatter, damn it! So scatter! That was close. We almost got flattened. Damn it. Even rookies with nothing but the most rudimentary of military training would have recognized a hand signal that basic... Well, we're not all trained soldiers here, are we? Spanish. ¿Cómo está? Verily. Verily. The flourish of a single hand doth indeed make boast of a chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly wavest thy arm about, clenching and unclenching thy hand in that mystical fashion, only to suddenly turn tail, forsooth, I am left bereft of understanding what thou meanest to say. I have to go back to... this. To think that of all the personnel in the team, only the swabby has the discipline to... I'm just mixing all of them up. It's Greek. Only the swabby has the discipline to interpret a basic field signal. I only picked it up during my sailing days, and realistically speaking, did you really expect ordinary people like the others to understand professional military signals? This is unacceptable. After all the operations all of you have been deployed under my lead, you're all still ignorant when it comes to non-verbal signals. I don't think even Dante would know those signals. Something interesting is, like Otis, I wonder if she can tell the two blondes apart. Like a moment's notice. This is probably bad team composition. Yep. Might as well be splitting hairs. Literally. Let us appease. I don't even know what Korean. If you want to say, okay. Let us appease our agitated hearts and follow Miss Otis's instruction. We should disperse and withdraw. I don't even know what she's from. Megaton landing! Ow. Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. Whoa, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, you know, she kind of, maybe she's a little more Gyaru designed. Maybe it's like, finito a million years ago. You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent. The floor form and shape are now crushed beyond mending, sunken deep enough to be likened to the incipience of wellspring. Don't ya? Maybe more Canadian. Don't ya worry your head about it. Look, that's all after teams to take care of. Anyway, That should be all of them, right? The force of your landing neutralizes the last of the distortions outside of the building. He's probably deeper than that. Going more to like Kim's range. Great. Can you check on the distorted peeps' faces and clothes? Their faces are all segmented. Makes my skin crawl. Not a pleasant sight. As for their attire? This one appears to be a sweeper, and that one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer. And this distortion I landed on, probably a local resident, judging by the clothes. Jesus. Did any of you happen to see anything nearby bursting with a big poppin' flash? Nay, not once. Okie dokie. You know what? Then let's all head upstairs. This suppression request is kind of a pain. We'll need to put together a nice, neat plan before we start poking it too hard. She kind of has like the vibe of a Gyaru, but not really like the vernacular. A plan, sayest thou? How? Was this not a mere matter of slaying distortions where they stand? Huh? Wait, did nobody brief you? This has often been the structure of our assignment. We are given instructions, we perform them, and only afterwards do we begin to. I feel like it'd be like way less begin to perceive the nature and contour of the task to which we have committed our hands. Really? Well, guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal. I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only our new girl. This time, that dude, Mr. Bamboo-Hatted Kim, also here, so... Huh? He's okay now? Sure he is. You'll be surprised once you see just how okay he is now. But last time you said he was still under treatment. Feel like he's higher pitched. Still under treatment. Maybe. To be precise, I believe Miss Engel stated that his mind is yet to reform its former tranquility. That? You'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll just end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about it now. You've arrived? Ah, it's blinding. It's so bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. Yet the warm tickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. No, this is not sunlight. Because unlike this, there is more to the sun sign than its warmth. Then what exactly is this light? Why is this thing on again? It's bright enough to fry my eyeballs. Apologies, Lady Ezra. I'm yet to be accustomed to this machine. This is my first time laying a hand upon the complicated workings of such a contraption. I feel like it's it activated of its own accord, and I have yet to discover the method by which it may be silenced. That is why I told you to leave it alone. Fiddling with things you don't understand usually ends with something or you broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. But, Mentor, Lady Moses has instructed me that in every moment and event, clues are hidden under the veil of one's surroundings and must be examined with care. Yes, and that only works if you're savvy about the knack. Did someone say knack? Act 3 confirmed. Hang on, did you just say mentor? I had not yet been afforded a proper opportunity to introduce him to you. This here is the esteemed leader of the Blade lineage, who is all but a master under whom I have apprenticed. Do you really have to dress it up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else around to take the job. Switch. Where's the switch? Gotcha. Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck are you? Goodness. Known as Bamboo-Hatted Kim. Yes, that's me. Guess I should say pleased to meet you, folks. She has bangs now. these actors? I don't know. Were they ever real? Okay, so more often than not, first impressions are prone to change. The bamboo-hatted Kim I remembered was a man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness, the listless, heavy voice. That, however, had been while he was distorted and sunken into himself, so I figured his original personality might have been somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. His personality isn't even in the same ballpark as my expectations. You're telling me this guy here is Bamboo-Hatted Kim? I guess Dante would be like Italian. You're telling me... You're telling... I don't even know how to do it without just Mario or Wario. You're telling me this guy here is Bamboo-Hatted Kim? Yup. We double-checked with Ezra and she said he really is the same guy. Whoa. That fire on your head is not hot at all. Fascinating stuff. Can you... Okay, can we check again, just in case? I really can't wrap my head around the fact that these sullen, serious men whom we've fought just look at what he's doing. He's rubbing my face all over like he's checking out some kind of mantelpiece ornament. Lots of ticking and talking going on. That's supposed to sound like them talking to you folks, huh? I guess it's fast German. Yeah, I guess so. But the confirmation would be redundant, Dante. This individual is conclusively identical to the one designated as Bamboo-Hatted Kim. I've got no idea what you folks are so suspicious about. I do. Just what exactly have you been telling out people out there about me? They're all staring like they've seen a ghost. I told you you are a gallant and formidable warrior, Mentor. But they don't look like they've heard the most flattering things about me. Why do you have bangs? Yeah, don't you hear it? The faint undercurrent of disappointment in the ticking. I also told them that you are a man of few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. I do. Yes, Mentor? That's a complete and utter lie. man a few words is definitely not something you can say about a guy who's as talkative as me, don't you think? Yet I spoke no falsehood. Although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined for a leader of an organization, you are much more reserved and taciturn when conversing with those unfamiliar to you, are you not? No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him, so I refrain from mentioning any truths that might invite the latter to even hint at anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would not be unlike spitting on his name and mine by extension. Jesus. I simply had no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. In any case, oh, so you can't see anything if I block this part, hmm? Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? Then you have already acknowledged and accepted that you now belong to Limbus Company. Why didst thou not pay a visit to the LCE? Verily, when one's mind is plagued by the absence of tranquility, venturing forth into the open air and touchable field of grass cleareth the storm of the heart. An asset of the company is expected to act in the company's interest. Yet, for whatever reason, I didn't see you fighting on the field of battle during Operation Spider Pyre. You will have to account for your absence in the mission. It's almost Russian. Maybe I should just give up the accents. I could always try. Otis addressed Kim as though she were conducting a formal investigation. Every word wet and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down anytime soon. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume a more serious disposition. He stopped peering into my face and turned in towards Otis. Although his hand was still on my head. Happy Pride Month. Alright, clearly there's some disconnect in expectations here. Listen here, you. I really not at all that about hard, bothersome work. Get what I mean? The real disconnect was between his stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? So let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the resident layabout who's... You know what? he seemed, even though I know he's Korean, he just seems like the total dude bro. So I'm just gonna give him like the total dude bro. Like, so let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the resident layabout who's forced to do his job with a frown too. I might add only when he's got absolutely no other choice. I'm really not some big shot Engdu's apparently been promoting me as, folks. And very much like to stop getting roped into stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Like, this is like the most aura loss ever. Ugh. Fine. Then why did you join the LCD in the first place if you'd rather be unemployed? No, never mind. They probably force you to say. You catch on quick. First they spout this nonsense about distortions and all, and then forced hired me, calling me a company-owned resource or whatever. The Valley Girl accent. And the other day, they were again on about what's its name? Golden Bow. Yes. They invited me on a tour to another department to listen in on some important presentation. And I accepted. Or others. And I accepted. I thought it would be a fine opportunity to broaden my perspective. 10 minutes. Dear. What the fuck? Engdu, dear, there are times when your commitment to duties shines brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling that I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows? Maybe that's why I'm wearing this bamboo hat. To shade my eyes from your other brilliance. Do you mean to say that you are in need of a shield to protect your eyes? Lady Ezra, might I submit a request for a pair of sunglasses for my mentor? Only if it's not too much of an imposition on the budget, that is. Oh. She's like stupid. That right there. That's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn it into a supply request. Small expenses add up to a lot, you know? You gotta save up everything you can in the piggy bank while you still can, or you'll end up broke. Is there truly no room for reconsideration? No means no. Then pray make the purchase for me. I shall cover the cost myself. No. No can do. Wait, what? She is like, oh jeez. My poor mentor is in a state of great discomfort, yet I possess neither the wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate the silver tongue of merchants and the maze of stalls to locate the very best item, so I must beg this favor of you. You're giving me a frickin' headache, girl. I am aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There is no one else I can trust to complete such a procurement with the swiftness of the wind. You know what? Never mind what I said. I'll just get you what you want. You heard the gentle lady, mentor. Your suffering shall soon be alleviated. Right. My apologies for interrupting you amid conversation. Pray continue. You had reached the part where they invited you to tour another department. Yikes. No sooner Ingdu's words left her lips than her eyes glinted with something I couldn't really put my finger on. But it was a strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Yeah, so the day I was just gonna relax here and watch some TV. Well, good on you for showing up to work today, I guess. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose I do. Kim's gaze lingered on Ingdu's prosthetic arms as he answered. Oh, Miss Ingdu, your arms. Only after following Kim's gaze did Sinclair seem to notice Ingdu's brand new prosthetic arms. The last time we saw her, Ingdu had lost both her arms, and I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose what type of prosthesis she wanted. Those arms are probably it. It's not just the arms. It's not just the arms. Even her clothes are different now. And that sword. And her hair. Hmm? I had these arms fitted new as soon as the operation was concluded. The Grace's host in one of the LCD teams had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Engdu held up her dark metallic wrists as if to showcase them. The components fixed along her arm clicked and rattled, unfolding for a moment before neatly folding back into place. Oh, such graceful smoothness, wed to machine articulation. 'Tis as though I am beholding the marvelous prosthesis of the illustrious Siegfried himself. Yep, the showcase would have gone lackluster without that trademark reaction. So strikingly similar to Swords Industries N7 lineup. But I thought that model was discontinued. Nah, not theirs. It's one of the prototypes developed by LCD's Phenomena deciphering team, and they put them on her for trial. Doubt you'll find another like them. They're based on technology spun from distortions. I see. For a brief moment, Sinclair's eyes lit up as if he had glimpsed something that brought him back to a memory. Then just as quickly, he fell silent. Whatever he wanted to say next, catching in his chest. Does something trouble you, Master Sinclair? He was struggling to keep himself from saying the slur. The C word. It wasn't hard to understand what struck the tender memory for Sinclair, why it cast a shadow over his face, but... Sorry. Just reminded me of something from a long time ago. My dad used to work with prosthetics before he passed away. I thought this was the same model I saw back then. It appears I lack tact. These arms have stirred a painful memory within you. For that I apologize. Aha. It's alright. I'm fine now. Sinclair's voice still carried a faint tremor, but beneath it, there was a firmness that had not been there before. He really had grown a great deal. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I did inform Lady Ezra that any blade that could... that any blade that could serve as a weapon would suffice, but she insisted on browsing the goods. I dare say I was given the opportunity to lay my eyes on every type of sword I could ever hope to see in this life. Walking through the workshop street that day. Oh, please. Girl, we walked for just 4 hours. That's nothing. While everyone was distracted taking in Engdu's outfit and equipment, Kim had quietly slipped away from the crowd and crouched down in a corner. He was rummaging through things scattered on the floor, picking them up, pocketing them. Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? What are all these things? It's basically a wreck now, but there are strobes and that cloth backdrop over there. Maybe it used to be a photo studio? Oh, that could explain why there's so many photos stuck around the place. Ah. Probably. This thing definitely looks like a camera, at least. Sinclair picked up a small cylindrical object and turned it over in his hands, studying it with curiosity. Shouldn't Michelle be talking more? What do you suppose this is? A battery, maybe? Ah, there's some kind of strip inside. Let me just pull it out. No, that's... Otis shouted a sharp warning at Sinclair as if she realized something. But Merceau's hand shot out before she could even finish, clasping over Sinclair's wrist before the strip could be pulled out. What? What did I do? Exposure to sunlight damages these objects. I already pulled a little bit out though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the rigid section on the cylinder. I am currently blocking the sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damage is of no concern. Oh, okay. You mean this one, right? This is the part that rotates. Yep, it went back in. With a quiet nod, Merceau took the object from Sinclair's hand. Is that a film roll? Sure looks like it. Gregor's German, right? So many German. It's something written on the outside. Experiment number 4. It appears to be a compact roll for a film camera. I've seen it a few times before. You seem pretty used to handling its results. Correct. Results. Results. Answer came without any further explanation, but the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly didn't look like that of a first timer. I once received a report containing photographs taken on film cameras during the war. Film rolls used by Ancorp are particularly difficult to falsify. They were often used to collect intelligence during secret operations. The film fixes light directly onto the medium, from what I've heard. A particular expression flashes across Ezra's face as she regarded Altus. Perhaps it was the mention of war that caught her attention. Anyway, we've managed to regroup in one piece. Yeah. Let's come up with a plan to deal with these distortion, guys. Where should we begin? Then, in the next breath, she returned to her usual bubbly self and steered the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I, we are both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted upon ourselves. for all her unfailingly perky disposition. Ezra too may be carrying traumatic memories every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Does there yet remain aught deserving illumination? Huh? Yeah, wait. You're right. Why haven't we cleaned up the distortion already? I couldn't feel any more traces of distortions nearby. It didn't seem like any of the other sinners' teams elsewhere were actively engaged in battle at the moment either. Dante is asking whether the distortion suppression has not yet, in fact, already been concluded. Oh, not yet. These people we fought just now, they only got caught up in the distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. We haven't even gotten close to the distortion's inflection point yet. Inflection point. Anywho, finding an inflection point without the team leader around is gonna take some time. Maybe it won't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room with a look of frustration, as though she had just been handed a puzzle box with half of the pieces missing. By inflection point, are you referring to the point on a graph in which the directionality of its curvature changes? Calling to mind the present context, it may less be a mathematical term and more a specialized polysemy referring to the point at which distortion occurs. The motive and intent, or indeed the point at which inflection of the mind occurs. Yeah, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So in our department, we use that term to mean the source of a distortion, the inflection or cause behind it, stuff like that. You know, distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core's cause. Treat the symptoms you see on the surface all you like, but if you never find the root cause, the distortion's never gonna get solved. Though, I guess you guys never really had to look for that kind of stuff, huh? Your boss clock opens a door into their fathoms or whatever, right? You mean Dungeons of the Fathoms? Yup, that's the one. From where we're standing, distortions are really high maintenance, time-consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but curing it is another thing. But you guys can just march straight into someone's heart, knock the snot out of everything in there, and then ta-da! Patient ready for discharge. And that's how it works, right? Not gonna lie, I was so jealous when I heard about it, I almost bit my sleeve off. Yeah, everyone wants to be a phantom thief. And yeah, I thought you fellas had it the same way we did, you know, giving them a good beating and start from there. Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with a distortion suppression request if it were that simple in the first place? But yeah, most of the time, peeps try brute force approaches to it first, and when things go south, they send requests to the company or to our direct detective's office. Such means the client this time must have been... Bingo! Apparently the residents of Butter Street had all chipped in to commission all kinds of agencies like the SWI and the combat specialized fixer offices, but none of them could actually do things right, and the job got passed on to us. So everyone sucks. Meaning the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere on the streets. Exactly. That's why we gotta find something, anything that might count as a clue. Ra gazed down at the people lying on the floor with complicated expression. Neat ash gray suits and the logo of the collar of their uniform and briefcases. Hey, isn't that the N-Corp's logo? Come to think of it, wasn't Mersault? I was once employed by N-Corp. What? You used to work with those people? Yeah, he did mention that he used to work at N-Corp. Maybe he can offer us some insight. Do you know who these guys are, Mersault? Yes, manager. These are N-Corp, Class 2 staff members. Given the camera briefcase in their possessions, they are likely members of the pinframe team of service Dick Klaus. Mersault recited the information as though he were pulling it from a file he had already sorted and placed at the back of the shelf in his mind. Okay. Pin frame team, huh? Anything you could tell us about them? Yes. It is one of N-Corp's many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties include handling of N-Corp's internal information, analysis N-Corp's internal intelligence, sorting and arranging N-Corp's internal information, and intersector. That be enough. Well, is he like a talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah, another thing to be jealous of. Think it'd be okay if we borrow him sometime? Might be an issue for us if you just went and borrowed our team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees that he's an encyclopedia. Anyway, your encyclopedia is right. Stop calling it that. Jesus. They're from NCorp's Pinframe team. Seen them a few times before NCorp's Nest. Why didn't you say anything, you fucking bitch? Anyway. But why would people already busy enough dealing with Nest affairs come all the way out to a shabby backstreet like this? Got any guesses? I am unable to determine that. The possibility of connection between the two pieces of information is exceedingly broad. Listing every relevant reason as to why they may have come here would require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to that question. Almost going Russian. Ishra staring holes into me with an unspoken, is this dude always like this? Wouldn't pull any answers from me, you know. Because aside from combat situations, I've got no way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay then. So maybe this will be easier to answer. From an objective point of view, and that's when I noticed something I'd never imagined would happen. Marcel's eyes widened, his gaze fixing me with such force that I could almost feel a faint tremor in it. A leveling stare that came with There is no such thing as an objective point of view, manager. A clipped tone and a look of almost bordering on rebuke. A given judgment may seem infinitely close to objectivity, but ultimately all things are subjective without exception. I fell silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because Masad's reaction had caught me off guard, but I also wondered whether his response might be connected to why he would always refuse to make judgments for himself. And if this has something to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner. Got it. Then tell me 3 subjective reasons you think are most likely for why these people had to come all the way into the back streets. I need to understand who he actually is as much as I can. Because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off with a simple, oh, I see, my bad, as usual. Yes, manager. I would presume that. I would presume that their mission was one or all of the following: retrieval of video recording or recordings in violation of N-Corp's taboo, prompt elimination of the violator, contact with an informant in the back street, collaborating with N-Corp's nest, or identification and arrest of an unwanted individual or individuals designated by the nest. Taboo? You mean these people would be taboo hunters? Nah, no way. They don't send out taboo hunters for every single violation, you know? Like, wings usually leave minor taboo violations to be handled by subcontracted fixer offices or employees of the department in charge. I'd say these guys here are EdCorp staff. Miss Angdu. Engdo. What are you looking for in their pockets? I am looking through their belongings for enlightening clues yet to be hidden in the sleeve or the fold of their garments. Lady Moses has been gifted with the art of discerning the truth from what lies before her with but a single glance. Yet my eyes are foreign to such a feat. Neat. Let me take a look too. This is an employee card, and okay, this one's a wallet, so let's put that back. We don't want to be robbers. God, Ezra, why are you still here? Aren't you supposed to be looking for sunglasses? This might be it. It's an order missive. Ezra pulled a sheet of paper out from an N-Corp staff's coat, and I read its contents out loud. Oh, and read it. Okay. Work details: elimination of the individual of the Category 3 taboo violation address, Butter Street. This is the place. Which means all of this might be pointing to something. Whoever used to work in this studio and the distortion phenomenon might be connected. Yeah, now that you mentioned it, when that whole pop and change thing happened, it did feel kind of like a camera flash. Alright, let's start by combing through this place. Let me know if you find anything suspicious. Oh ho! At long last, hath thou the hour arrived for my debut as a detective, forsooth? Don Quixote must have been me for not getting to play detective back in T-Corp. No idea where she'd been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props that had been given to Roger Roshu and Honglu back then. Verily, I had foreseen the day that the day would come. Fortunately, Otis wasted no time putting an end to Don Quixote's badly timed shenanigan. A sharp dressing down from her was enough to make our dejected chivalric adventurer stuff the costume away. Better keep her whimsy. Okay, then we should get moving too. Finally, a battle.
바람에 닳고 비에 씻겨도 검결은 흐려지지 않았으니 본의대로 맡은 바를 다할 뿐.
Your team and the LCD, the Phenomenon Deciphering team, gave me a set of prosthetic arms today. These Dokebi arms, that's what they called them, I believe, feel just like my real arms, like I was born with them. Must have cost them a fortune to get me something this fine. I suppose this is one more I am in their debt. Fuck. Which I intend to pay them back in gratitude. They've been telling me things to make me feel better. This is the bare minimum you'll need to work on the on-site investigation team, or hey, distortions are not gonna go easy on you just because you're missing an arm. I know they mean well. They're just trying to make sure I don't feel like I owe them anything. But if I'm being honest, I still feel like I haven't done nearly enough to repay their kindness. Mentor, for all the years I've devoted myself to the blade lineage, I lived prepared to let a blade bite into my flesh if it meant seizing an opportunity or an opening to cleave through the bones of my enemies, because that is how a Salsu must carry herself, as the saying goes. When tremors ran through my sword hand, I would not still them before raising the blade. When my arms grew heavy as lead from exhaustion, I would swing through that weight. I knew no other way how to make use of myself. That was who I was. Now somehow, that same person now spends her days drowning in paperwork. I'm doing all I can to learn more about everything that happened, about that accursed artifact they call Monolith, and that wretched form you had been reduced to, what they call a distortion phenomenon. My whole life, I've never had so much as a passing interest in anything that wasn't the blade. So, taking in all this knowledge to learn about things beyond the steel feels quite unfamiliar to me. It's not so easy to learn new things when you don't even understand half the words you're reading in your paper, or what strange contraptions the jargon is referring to, for that matter. Same document that other people seem to understand. After a quick skim, I've had to reread over and over before its content finally sank in. And there were times I'd have to ask for the same explanation twice, 3 times even, while others had already understood the material and move on, because you stupid. But I don't think I hate this feeling. Learning something new every day, feeling my eye slowly open to a world I never knew, is more exciting than I thought. Only I learned sooner that there are ways to view the world through a wider lens, not just through what was reflected on my narrow blade. How does one's heart fall apart? How does that fractured heart surface and take physical form? Once we've learned that, how do we prevent it from happening? Or if it has already happened, how do we bring the subjects back from that? What records do we want to keep? What are the signs of the things we must watch out for? These are things I never would have learned if I had not unclasped my hand from the handle of my blade. Maybe that's why I feel like I can't relate to the maxims as how Salsu must carry herself as much as I used to. Of course, I don't mean to say I've grown ashamed of it, because I am still fond of wielding my blade, and I will not hesitate to cut down what must be cut down. It's just that I'm learning little by little that not every answer has to begin with unsheathing my sword. I've learned to face what remains when a blade has been wielded. Ah, and another thing. As you must be well aware yourself, most fellows here at the LCD are kind folk. I suppose I should admit their kindness made me uncomfortable at first. I've never been shown goodwill that asks for nothing in return, so every thoughtful word and gesture of kindness felt like one more debt settling on my shoulder. But with this time, I came to understand there are people who will gladly give me the time of day, offer their seats without making anything of it, and explain things I don't understand without irritation. People who tell me to rest when I looked exhausted. Nights I had fallen asleep in the elements with the starry night sky as my roof and dirt beneath me as my bedding are starting to fade beyond the veil of memories. Homeless, illiterate, and dumb. The days when I'd crawl under a stranger's eaves when it rained, the days when we'd be mired in an endless strife against the black clouds, they seem so distant now. For months now I'd been waking up in a cushy bed that sinks softly when I lie on it. I haven't gone a single day these past few months, uncertain of where my next meal would come from, or if I'd even have enough water to wash the day's grime off. If I have any worries these days, or their concerns I would have once called a luxury back in the day. Now frivolous questions like, what drink do I want to get today, as I make my way to the office. I still can't decide if this is the kind of lifestyle that suits me. But if the teams can tolerate my presence here for a bit longer, I intend to remain until I can find my own direction in life. The day might come when I decide this path isn't for me, choose to leave. But by then, I hope I'll have become someone who had learned to grasp a better sense of the road ahead. But I don't suppose you'll be changing anytime soon, Mentor. You'll still wander off on your own without telling anyone, or retreat to your room and shut yourself away for days. Yes, I know well enough that the path to recovery is an arduous one. Wounds of the heart are unlike wounds of the flesh, after all. You can't simply stitch them shut, salve them with ointment, and expect everything to be all right. But at the very least, I'd like you to remember this. The blade lineage is no more, but you and I, Mentor, we survived. And the living have their own responsibility they must see to. Whichever journey you embark on, whether you choose to take up the blade, abandon it forever, fill your responsibility to the blade lineage, or return to Escort. Never lose sight of what you must do. No, never lose sight of where your heart really
Junior, you're still writing? It's for the hat guy, right?
Well, it is. But I guess I just had a lot on my mind, and I wanted to tell him.
So, how you feeling about today? Got the butterflies? No anxiety attacks? It's your first real mission with those spanking new arms.
Yes, I made him Pumetzel. A bit anxious, yes, but I'm not afraid. I feel like I couldn't feel any better.
Gotcha, Junior. I'll trust you to have my back then. Team leader's already pinpointed the inflection point, so all you gotta do is cut right through that part.
Understood. Then Limbus Company Oser Team. Distortion Specialist Ishmael. Commencing mission.
Yay!
I guess. What was I doing? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. That'd be 60. 40. Okay. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
피가
환약이 생겼나요?
망설임 없이
화점에 두지.
태어내겠습니다.
It's not gonna go in well, but we'll do it anyway.
칼을 부딪힐 시간입니다.
We spent a long while rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. There sure are a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings, nothing much to tell from that. Aside from the canisters containing the film roll Sinclair picked up, there are no remaining items here that can be counted as proper clue, executive manager. I've confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. Then it's probably best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, executive manager. I will find a way to develop the film. Did you guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we can see what's in that film roll. Mentor, what do you make of this object? For the 8th time, Angdu, I have no idea. If I had wits bright enough to understand all that lies before me with a single glance like that, team leader, I would have passed the royal examinations long ago and secured myself a lucrative position as a court official. But, mentor, haven't you already passed the road? Once swung, a sword does not retrace a target. So it is with life. There's no undoing what's already been cut. Guess fuck you, Araya. Whatever, man. Thus, it is always unnecessary to dwell on what can no longer be undone. There is no after what has been slashed away. Where is the other team? Now for you, mentor. Ought you not dwell on what can no longer be undone? I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Ungdu. I merely meant to say I do not to recall my past. I'm aware. You have told me as much since long ago. Whenever you were placed in a position to retrace the past, mostly at the eateries where you filled your belly on unpaid taps, and each time you brought down the stone wall before our house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kind of things you should never forget. Ow, my belly. I feel a stabbing pain in my belly. This spot, oh, the very wound you once gave me, inflicts me again. The one when you thought you were only poking me with a scabbard, yet by some cruel turn, it was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you said it was completely healed, and that I need not concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. But it takes now and then, chiefly when I hear you sharp cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Ah, is that so? Ingdu suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down.
What's this?
I've written down the words that I've just said. If I hear my sharp cutting words afflict you so, perhaps reading them instead would cause them no suffering.
Kim's face began to contort like a wet dish towel being wrung dry. I really can't believe this is the same mentor Angdu followed so devoutly. Where's all that dignity and forbearance Angdu what said he had?
Young Angdu, there is a matter I would like to ask thee.
Apparently, I wasn't the only one felt that way about him.
Pray, speak freely. This may perhaps be a discourteous inquiry, but I too, when speaking to others of those whom I serve, often ornament my words with a laudation of an acceptable degree, and yet I understand your concern, Lady Don Quixote. I suppose this is your first time seeing Mentor with his shoulders so unbraced and his bearing so loose. In truth, When I first beheld him, I also wondered whether such a man could truly be the leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I have never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. My respect towards the blades of my own foes alike, my determination to safeguard what must be protected, even should my arms be torn apart, all of these are undoubtedly the teachings that my mentor has imparted unto me. Truly, why, if fortune should grant the opportunity, you may witness mentor's true self yourself someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river to arrive at such a chance. Angdus gave her prosthetic arm a casual sweep, and smiling sincerely as though she truly believed every word she said. Then, leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, Don Quixote. I feel like every time any woman gets close to Don Quixote, it's just like gay. It's just really gay. I don't know. Besides, unless I speak with this vain, stern ignorance, there will be no end to his digging in his heels. I would ask for your trust, for all is aimed at his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with the trials of serving your superior. So that's what So that was what it was. I get it now. Just as I witnessed the budding of this particular bond of commiseration and camaraderie between our chivalric lesbians, the door leading outside is flung open with a loud slam. Ha! We have arrived. We have arrived at the target location. It appears that the advance party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't they say there was only one single violator? Oh crap. Looks like it's too late to talk our way out of this, whatever excuses we may come up with. Oh boy, this is not gonna go well. The same thing happened last time when we saw the Incorp employees. I thought we had the wrong intel, and all of a sudden... Sudden flash vision. So I stared straight into a burst of searing light, so intense and bright that it's... Yeah, that was the same pop, and with my vision blinded, the only thing I could make out was Ezra's soft murmur, till even that came to a stop as I heard breathing hushed. Oh. It didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. Seeing it again doesn't exactly warm the heart, wouldn't you say, Abdul? escort may indeed be passing through hard times. This alley was not quite so rich in form, was it, Mentor? Is that right? Looks much the same to me. This place. Did we get teleported to Escort? No, Dante. Though it generates a considerable sense of verisimilitude, this is... I think I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it until just now, but somehow it was now surrounding us, saturating every corner of the space where we stood. The dreary stone walls, trees bent and coiled in grotesque forms, the sheen of light even. The air we breathe, all of them point towards a single phenomenon. This is the depths of the fathoms, fathoms made entirely out of distortion. There are completely different distortions where the in-corp employees were just a minute ago. Executive manager, this is exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. I hung. My era pointed. The people in smart, neat suits had vanished, and the place figures clad in blood-stained dopo robes were approaching us with dragging, uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first and talk later, right, Angu? My blade is poised to strike Lady Ezra. And wait, where's that bamboo-headed dude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he had no desire to cross blades with the Junokuns of Escort twice. Come on, man, not again. He's a repeat offender, that's for sure. Executive manager. Whenever Kim's gone off to, this definitely isn't the time to be asking trivial questions. Right, let's do what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your orders, Executive Manager, men. Prepare for battle. It's gonna be a wash, but out.
사실 이런 보모구실은 제가 아니라 세피라들의 역할이긴 하죠. 관리자님도 알다시피 저는 언제나 수십 명의 몫을 해내고 있으니까요.
Alright. Doable. Okay. All right. There you go.
발권. 차단.
둘, 박살!
Nope.
육청.
매뉴얼을 만들어두길 잘했네. 그렇게만 해.
Nice.
어중간한 연민이 이런 불필요한 고통을 가져오는 거야. 목숨을 거두려 했다면 머리를 베었어야지.
Alright.
빗속이 속에
다음번에는 뵐 수 있겠죠?
자세에 틀림은 없군.
칼을 베어내고
It's like bamboo
이미
pad
우리는
Kim is
손에 많은 피를 묻혔다.
actually there.
몇 명 늘어난다고 달라지는 건 없어.
Yeah. Yeah, you got him. Nice. How are you doing? You're fine.
뺀 다음에 사활을 건다.
야! 자! 그냥 5배!
Damn.
너희가 걸어야 할 수라의 길은 여전히 그 끝이 보이지 않는 만큼 멀고 또 멀고.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
Nice.
이번엔
Correct.
태양이죠. 효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
즐겁겠군. 전공 모드 마크 스텝.
조금 무르긴 했지만 제압은 성공적이었어. 뭐 별건 아니었지. 안 그래?
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
야! 네 상대는 나야. 네? 이리 봐! 하!
패를 빼앗았습니다.
불만을 해소해준 보람이 있네. 지금처럼 접대를 성공적으로 이끌다 보면 앞으로 더 많은 층을 개방하고 더 많은 보조사서의 도움을 받을 수 있을 거야.
발검, 차단.
물러서지 않겠어. 있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 으깨놨지만
I was like 1, 2, 3, 4,
언젠가
4
다시
people
재생하겠-
underleveled. Easy. That should be all of them. Surveying the area with measured alert, Engdu casts the blood from her sword with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back into its sheath. Huh? But they're not changing back. Doesn't it look like beating up the distorted ones reverted them immediately this time around? Perhaps a fortune turn of events in any way. Let's search for clues while time is allow us. Right. You take that side, Undo. I'll search here. Ezra and Engdu moved about as though they were used to this kind of situation. Without even taking a moment to catch their breath after the battle, they began searching space. Pretty. Don Quixote was the first one to voice her doubt in the surreal, unfamiliar situation we found ourselves in. We battled distortion upon our arrival hither, yet never before have I beheld our surroundings change with so sudden a flash. Really, I cannot make sense of this situation. Couldst thou render a detailed account of this distortion phenomenon? Apologies. It would appear I overlooked the briefing due to the urgency of the predicament. This is, according to the definition presented by Lady Moses, a location-type distortion. It's basically when a whole space distorts, and since places and buildings can't move on their own, the distortion gets fixed in a certain space. As for this one, looks like the distortion's already progressed pretty far along. Middle stage, probably. They don't usually get this big, but this one's here covering almost an entire street. Those people. They enter this space and got caught up in it. And our job right now is to get to the bottom of this phenomena. What exactly gets people caught up and what happens to them once they're in. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a powerful distortion that's encroaching upon its environment. Oh, by that I mean when a distortion bleeds into the space around it and it warps it. Oh man, I'm actually talking like our team leader. Rubbed off on me, I guess. Isra continued with a sheepish giggle. In any case, we won't be able to suppress or cure the distortion even if we whoop these guys' asses 100 times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection point. Maybe we should examine these people over here too. With the call, Ezra directed our attention to the rows of collapsed people all around. All of them clad in dope robes. And these are the glyph emblazoned on their headpins. Chu. Someone kiss their foreheads. Bespeaks propulsion and pursuit. It marks them as tunicants, functionaries charged with scouring and hunting runaway nobbies. All hail from the same home. You hail from the same homeland as we do. I'm surprised you know of them. I could hardly fail to know, for I too was once enumerated with among their quarry. Scientists and technicians were daily being disposed of their stations in S-Corp after all. So, it was no idle tale. Scientists who applied their crafts without fantoning S-Corp's coffers are seized forthwith and made nobis of the corporation. Indeed, I count myself fortunate to have absconded with my friends, for the brand of Nobi could be impressed upon us otherwise. Nobi, the wretched appellation conferred upon the people for the convenience of those in power, a vile practice and excuse of their power-mongering, nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters of S-Corp operate by much of the same anatomy. Does the preaching of the taboo summon the hunter, or does the hunter first seize his prey to thereafter frame the captured with invented transgression? If the powerful so desire to chase a man down, to take possession of his very being and keep him caged, then they need only decree that he should bear the lot of a Nobi. Such is what S-Corp has become today. My mentor, too, is one of the victims of that accursed practice. Then could people be sent out to capture your mentor, Visang? Or me, perhaps, or none of us? You mean to state that, say, may be conceptual forms of unicorns generated by distortion. That is plausible conjecture. We are getting nowhere with this clue hunting. With a heavy sigh, Otis pressed her fingers against her brow as if her head were starting to pound in frustration. To delve further into the matter, sir, it is necessary to determine why the S-Corp and its unicorns have appeared as the motif of this phenomenon. Considering the course of events we have seen so far, would it not stand to reason that the distortion stains all nearby things with memories most foul? The presence of unicorns suggests a possible correspondence to Yisung's memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Corp's time collectors weakens that hypothesis. In which case, the most plausible theory is that this particular distortion could have stemmed from bamboo-hearted Kim or Angdu's memories. Angdu's furrowed her brow and fell into thought, as though she couldn't grasp the full picture of the problem. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma or affect their surroundings, but this one, I'm not getting that pop of inspiration. Can't even guess what this distortion wants either. The white flash of light suddenly drowned my vision again as Ezra clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. If only the team leader was here, cracking this would have been a piece of cake. And we're back. So this is why you kept asking whether we'd seen anything bursting with a pop. The North Corp employees must have had it rough too, getting dragged into the distortion like this. I mean, what else were we supposed to do? It was self-defense. They were about to attack us. I suppose finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way forward. Fastest way forward. Let's just do what we can for now. Okay, first we need to develop the film we found around here. We'll head to the nearest darkroom and actually, let's first drag that slippery, hat-wearing cult back here and get him talking about the Chinikins. That's probably our best bet. Every time we take a job, that slacker just slips off without telling anyone. This one part of me watched Ezra stamp her feet in frustration. I was also carefully following Heathcliff's team through the other part of my vision. Oh, I think I can help with that. Have you located him? Huh? What, the boss clock found something? Yeah, I found where Bamboo-Headed Kim is right now.
하늘에서 쏟아지는 장대비 사이에는 쏜살들이 숨어 있었습니다. 저들은 어디서 들이치는 빛발인지도 모르고 명을 달리했겠죠. 이것이 동부의 암살법입니다.
Oh, goody. Got 4. Despite being level 60, they only leveled up to 5.
이번에 읽어줄 동화책은 이것으로.
남, 들, 안. 아비들도 매번 이런 식이었다. 지가 내킬
그대는
때만
어디까지
잘해줬지.
가고 있을지.
낮도 밤도 지 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 뿐.
들리세요? 한 쌍의 상황골과 24개의 늑골이 자아내는 티비아의 멜로디가
그렇지. 이거 공각 맞지?
바로 그거다.
얄레 필살 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램.
쳐다보고
그 슬픈 눈빛. 헉, 좋구려.
개체가 다소 불리한 조건에 놓여 있습니다. 이 기회를 효과적으로 노려보죠.
거기 킬존이다.
쳐다보기 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고
제압개체에게 맞는 공격 수단도 못 고르면서 왜 침대팀을 했지?
바로 그거야 갈래.
무함음중.
보시다시피 앞에 무방비해진 개체가 있네요. 부디 그래선 안 되겠지만 이 틈을 놓친다면 관리자님의 역량에 대한 계산을 재검토해야 할지도 모르겠군요.
양반이 떠올랐어요.
필연적 절대적.
그럼 베어냈어. 이제 싱 수에선 벗어나는 베어냈어.
들리세요? 한 쌍의 상황골과 24개의
뭔 말을 하고 싶은지는 알겠지만 그 영혼
술적이네요.
내가 아니야.
좋아해.
결코
지령에게
아니지.
불확실한 것은 없네.
거기 킬존이다. 팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋고.
이 순간이 다
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘
태연이.
다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 공이었고.
여기 심장이.
매뉴얼을 만들어두길 잘했네요. 그렇게만 해.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸래.
나쁘지 않아요. 알바해줬죠.
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을. 여기까지 와서 망설일 생각은 하지 않았으면 좋겠어. 사람을 죽이고 싶지 않았다면 너희도 세피라들도 처음부터 거래를 하지 말았어야지. 멋있는 건 알아가지고 재밌네. 난 너희가 좀 더 어설플 거라고 생각했거든.
훌륭한 단말만이요.
스팟라이트.
낮도 밤도 지 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 뿐.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어. 저의 뼈로 틈을 잡고 저의 살로 채워넣고 한 번에 덮게. 나쁘지 않아요.
베어냈어.
이것도 환상의
운명적인
대동력.
미래를 과거와 같이.
상황이 끝나면 티피리트에게 방금 상황 녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐. 이 정도면 엔젤라님에게도 증명할 수 있을 거야.
그대는
이래.
어디까지 가고
국가위의
있을지.
힘으로 않다는 거.
대행 완료.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다. 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은
숨
말만
막히도록
한답니다.
견뎌왔고 절박하게 갈망했으며 헤아릴 수 없이
예.
저주했으니
어디 교환
해금하겠네.
눈에 담을 만한 가치가 있는 예술이군.
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지
Again.
몰아친 것을 저
훌륭한 기획 성과를 낸 직원이군요.
하지나
효율적인 결과를 위해서 이쯤에서 관리자님이 칭찬의 말을 건네줘도 좋을 것 같네요. 물론 진심까지
He's
담길
been a
필요는
grinder.
없으니 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
また一つ学ばせていただきました。
그대는
Oh, I
어디까지
missed a flower.
각오했을지
Oh well. Does not matter.
마지막으로 남길 말.
낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 뿐 무파허를 멈춘 이유였지나
여기까지 와서 망설일 생각은 하지 않았으면 좋겠어.
Not missing
사람을
you this
죽이고 싶지
time.
않았다면 너희도 세피라들도 처음부터 거래를 하지
그려낸
말았어야지.
게
그 소재 가져갈래요?
낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 뿐
별로 재미없네. 인간이 다른 인간을 많이 죽이는 건 질리도록 봤어. 아, 지금은 인간이 아닌 것이 인간을 죽인 건가? 그래도 똑같아. 그건 더 많이 봐왔거든. 그 소재 가져갈래요?
Ugh.
놀라
지리멸렬.
열받고 이러면 아무것도 못하죠.
헤세드 같은 놈들은 이 광경을 좀 봐야 해. 환상체 가두고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투 능력은 있어줘야지. 복지팀 애들만
그대는
데리고서
어디까지 각오했을지
신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간이란다.
저희 뼈 이제야 친해졌네요.
너희에게 꽃을 달아준다면 피아노가 어울리겠어.
Gonna be crazy when we get
햇살,
down to
지옥 세계, 피아노.
ego or something.
한상의 상황골과 24개의
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
운명적인 죽음일세. 운명적인 죽음일세.
이제 갖고 놀기.
그 슬픈 눈빛 헉 좋구려
Oh boy.
제한 종료
That one guy is dead.
딸아이도 이 상처를 기억할지
모, 분, 조, 토.
That's a waste.
역시 모가지를 분질러야 조용해지는군. 저 도야지 같은 새끼들은.
감상은 어떤가요?
대행 완료.
이 순간이 태어내리라.
여기 심장이 잠깐 저릿했기에
태어나서
마지막으로 남길 말?
원망도 못하지.
여기 심장이
고,
잠깐
언,
저릿했기에
올.
Wow.
하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군 거를 파는 곳 있나?
guess so. Well. Oh, yeah. Eventually. Well. I'm gonna go die or something. Again. Have a good night. Or whatever.